Carrie from Wrap Your Head Around Silks. You are listening to the Expecting Aerialist podcast. Today I'm so excited to have Christian Sanchez, who is, first of all, the first dude that I'm going to have on the podcast. And it is fitting because his wife, Sarah Manowski, was my first guest ever. He is one half of Team Romances, as we like to call them. And he's our first aerial dad. He's got a lot to talk about. I'm going to ask him about his injury. He injured his Achilles tendon years ago and had to go through a process of healing to get back to being an acrobat and an aerialist. He was on tour with Cirque. I was lucky enough to see that show when he was on the road, when he came to LA, and I got to see him in action there. And before and after the pandemic, he's been on Cirque du Soleil's MJ1 in Las Vegas. Him and Sarah are based in Las Vegas, and they just had their beautiful baby girl last year. So excited to have Christian. Let's get started. You guys are sleeping pretty good over there, huh?
Yeah, I mean, it's been great. We ended up sleep training her. I guess the recommended time for sleep training, according to our pediatrician, was like 5-6 months. So we started about that mark, 5-6 months. And ever since we did the sleep training with her, she's been solid. It's been 10 hours. I think the most she's gone is about 11 hours, but now it's consistently 10 hours every night. So it's great for us because,
oh my God.
I mean, she goes to sleep like 7:30, 8 o'clock. And then she wakes up for a feed 5:30, 6 in the morning. You know what I mean? So it's great for us because we're actually getting sleep.
We definitely didn't do that. Both of us didn't have the stomach for it.
Yeah.
I wonder if we should try now. You know.
Yeah, I mean,
we struggled.
It was definitely difficult. I'm not going to lie. It's not something that, we were both able to just put her in the room and let her cry. And it was like nothing. It was definitely difficult for both of us. I think mostly for me than for Sarah. Because I'm a bit of a softie when it comes to Z. So it was tough at first. Like the first 2 or 3 days, I think were the hardest on me.
Oh, yeah.
And even now she'll randomly fuss here and there. She'll cry, whatever. But it's nothing like it was before.
Right.
And I'm definitely grateful for that. So
Asa wouldn't even.
Yeah.
If you can believe it, he might be more of that teddy bear than you.
I don't know, because when we first started doing the sleep training, like I think the 2 or 3 days into the sleep training, I think I pretty much teared up or cried every single day.
Oh man.
Just hearing her cry, you know what I mean? Because it's like you hear your child in the next room, all these things start to run through your head. It's like, oh, my parents abandoned me and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like that. It's just like for health wise, for her development, we really wanted to get her on a good schedule. And it was extremely difficult, but I'm definitely glad we did that.
Yeah, let's go into the baby stuff. I feel like I've talked to so many women. Tell me what it is like to be the person who is not growing the child during that 9 months, because I guess I don't ask this of people very often, but it's so interesting. Like, is there a sense of you're not in control? Is there a sense of what is that feeling? What was it like for you?
Honestly, it wasn't. I mean, I guess it's hard to say because this was obviously something that we had both planned on doing. So when it came to life, essentially with, us finding out that Sarah was pregnant, it was kind of like mixed emotions because it was like right when the pandemic hit. And so we were like,
yeah.
Oh, okay, well, so this is going to happen then. We're going to have a baby. All these things kind of start to run through your head. And I don't want to say get stressed out because I don't feel like we got stressed out or anything like that. But I think once it came to reality, we realized we're like, okay, this is great news. Like we're happy about this. This is what we've wanted a child for a while, and we've been trying. So luckily enough, we were able to get pregnant on one of the first few times. For me, honestly, emotionally, I felt actually pretty good just because I think we were both in a good place in terms of both being at home and me being there to support her with anything that.
Yeah, it's not like one person was on the road, which would have been really hard.
Right, which is kind of what it was before. We both been traveling so much. So the fact that we were both able to be home at the same time and me able to support her emotionally as well as physically, I think it played a big part as well. Because, I mean, I know everyone has their own different situation, but I think both in the same setting really set us up for I think, a great pregnancy for her.
I watched you both. You know, you guys are both a part of Cirque du Soleil, and, you know, they laid off every single person, like, right after. So both of those happening at the same time. But I have to say, you guys are really good at handling stress.
I mean, I don't feel like I'm the kind of person that stresses very easily with things like that, especially with work. I don't know why, for whatever reason, I didn't know how long the pause was going to be, but I knew that for whatever reason, when we did come back, like, we were going to be good. We're going to be solid, just because entertainment is such a big part. It's just such a big industry in general, that especially in Las Vegas, where it's very, very heavily tourist driven, and that's basically how we make our money. But I knew, because of how heavy the tourists come to Las Vegas, I knew that everything was going to be fine and that show was going to be coming back. Watching
you guys, who are both freelancers, I really feel like you guys have figured out the way to just emotionally handle the ups and downs of our industry, and also taking opportunities and being willing to move and this and that when, you know, pre-baby. Let me go back to kind of how I started to get to know you, because I've been friends with Sarah for many years. And you guys were colleagues on a show called Cirque de la Mer over at SeaWorld in San Diego. And that's how you guys met. Can I hear the Edward Cullen version, not the Bella version? Do you know what I'm talking about? Like Twilight. You know how it's all from her perspective?
Oh, I got you.
You know what I'm saying? Like how the whole book is written from her perspective, and I know Sarah's perspective.
Right.
And I don't know from your side. So I want to hear it.
Well,
like,
I mean,
you saw her and you were like, whoa.
Well, it's funny because, like, she likes to call it a showmance.
A showmance, okay.
A showmance, yeah. So honestly, the first time I saw her, I just remember this tall, kind of like me, like tall, lanky, but like super buff aerialist that came in. And this was when I went through my phase of having my long hair. So, I had a look. And I think when I first showed up to work, I had my hair in cornrows just because I wanted to keep it somewhat neat.
Okay.
So that when I got there, they weren't like, okay, we can't have you perform with this hair. You have to cut it all off, whatever. It wasn't until like the middle of the summer, I think probably about the end of June. And that's when I kind of really started to talk to her. And I remember I wanted to do a dance because this is when I was heavily into dance. And I was still doing both acrobatics.
You're doing hip hop, right?
Hip hop, breakdancing, and still obviously doing acrobatics as well. And so I was like, oh, she's a dancer. Really wanted to create just a bunch of different concept pieces for dance, for like hip hop or like lyrical hip hop.
Oh, nice.
And she was like, oh yeah, sure. I think that'd be fun. Like, let's get together and try to come up with some stuff, which ended up we just basically ended up trashing it just because it was like, we ended up becoming, I guess we ended up becoming a thing towards the end of the summer. And so, yeah, basically we kind of just threw it away. And it was mostly just to kind of get us together. And she says that, oh, you really were just trying to come up with this quote unquote concept piece so you can talk to me. I was like, well, yes and no, because I did want to do a concept piece, but I also did want to talk to you as well. Like I just wanted to get to know her, you know? I mean, we talked till 2, 3 in the morning and it was great. And then after that, basically, I was like, okay, this person is pretty awesome. I basically want to talk to her all day, every day. And then from there, it kind of just started progressing into, us actually being into each other. And then towards the end of the summer, I think I was supposed to do a contract. I was supposed to do a contract in Florida. I was supposed to go on a cruise ship. Mm-hmm. Sorry, I don't remember exactly. I think it was about a week into the cruise ship contract. And then that's when I ended up getting injured. And then I left the cruise ship shortly after that.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but your Achilles popped off.
Yeah, well, the doctor said it was 99% ruptured. He said it was basically holding on by a thread. Ugh. And so essentially it was a full rupture.
Okay, so what does that feel like? Exactly? I don't know what that feels like.
Well, I've heard people describe it as a gunshot to their leg, but for me, it wasn't. It was more like a burning sensation.
Okay.
And obviously in my Achilles. But I kind of had a 2-for-1 special because I ruptured my Achilles and I fractured my ankle at the same time.
Oh, I don't know if I remember that.
And it was one of those things that at that point I was just doing training so much and doing so much acrobatics at that point in my career. And it was on trampoline. And so immediately as I was doing the skill in the air, I knew right away, I was like, okay, this is not good. I'm going to have a bad landing. And then as soon as I hit the trampoline, that's when it popped. I felt a burning sensation. I rolled over, I grabbed my ankle, and then, I started shouting obscenities and all kinds of stuff because I was so angry. Like I was just, because this was a contract that I've been wanting to do for years.
And how long was the contract?
The contract was supposed to be 9 months or 10 months, I think. But then they were going to extend it to a year.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so you're basically out of a year of work.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Did you hear a sound?
I believe I did hear something. I believe I did hear some kind of pop.
The injury itself happened when you went for the bounce, or did it happen when you landed?
It happened when I landed. I was doing a front flip, an inward front flip. It's basically...
So you just knew it wasn't a good jump. Like you were like, okay, this is not going to go well.
100%. Once I took off the trampoline,
okay,
I knew 100% that I was going to have a bad landing. And it's like, I already committed to the trick. If I had turned a different way, it might have been a different injury or a worse injury.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, Achilles rupture is still a bad injury, but it might have been something worse. I don't know.
Oh, man. And so like into the ER, into the MRI right away type of situation?
No, not even, because I was on the cruise ship. So normally that you do like a training.
Oh, yeah.
Normally you do a training at the studio in Miami. They have their own training facility. And so this all happened while we were out at sea. And it was just one of those things, like, it was weird because I felt a burning sensation, but that didn't hurt as much as knowing how much time I was going to have to spend rehabbing and out of work. And so that's really what twisted my mind. Was my teammates or my coworkers, they carried me off the trampoline and they put me in a wheelchair, and I felt this sensation of me like I was going to throw up. And so I asked someone, I was like, hey, can you just grab a trash can or something for me? And I say this again, it wasn't from the pain. It was from the frustration of getting an injury. And this was, I think, the second or third day of training. So we had just gotten there.
Oh, man.
From just being scared of not knowing what kind of serious injury it was. I knew what it was, but, until you get the MRI, the X-ray, you don't actually know. But we were out at sea. And so I ended up seeing the on-call doctor that was there, because they don't have any kind of the machines or anything like that on board. I had to wait until we docked in the next.
Okay.
And then once I got back to Miami, then I went to see the doctor, had to do the MRI, the X-ray, and then the MRI came back. And that's when the doctor told me, he was like, yeah, you ruptured your Achilles and you fractured your ankle.
Man. So the fracture has to be solved first, right? Right? How does that work?
I'm not really sure why he chose to put a screw into that fracture, because I feel like it might have, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a scientist, I have no idea. I imagine it would have healed a little bit better without the screw. But for whatever reason, when he put the screw in, it just wasn't healing at all. And so essentially I still had a fracture for, many years after that. The fracture just never healed with that screw in there.
Oh.
So that seemed like it was an easy fix, like an easy solution. Oh, we have a screw, drill it into the fracture and he'll be solid, no problem. The main issue and the challenge was the Achilles, which the Achilles didn't give me any problems whatsoever. It was the fracture later on down the road, Oh,
and how long did the PT on the Achilles? What was that like?
I believe it was about 7 months with my Achilles.
Okay.
And it was hard for me because, you watch all kinds of movies and TV shows, and, you watch sports and you see these athletes working with these high-level trainers, like trying to get them back to the tip-top shape. And so I assumed in my head, I was like, okay, no problem, whatever. They did the surgery, the hard part's over. Now I go to physical therapy. And so I assumed I get to this facility, I'm going to see these, these physical therapists, and I know they work with athletes and all kinds of stuff. And so I was like, okay, we're going to get to work. Like, let's do it. It ends up being the opposite, actually. So I got there, and it was super, super turtle race. I use that because it was super slow.
Oh, like geriatric.
Yes, it was a turtle race. And it was like, okay, we're gonna massage your Achilles for a little bit. We don't want to do too much to aggravate it. Okay, I get that point. That's fine. But I feel like I got to a certain point in my therapy where I had to push myself. Essentially, they gave me a worksheet and it listed my exercises.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'd basically just go down that worksheet. I basically would up it myself. Instead of doing 3 reps of 10,
right.
I do 4 or 5 reps of 10.
Man, that sucks. I had like really aggressive physical therapy.
I wish I would have had that.
Because I was at Cedar Sinai, and they were exactly what you're talking about. Like real sports, you see this type of physical therapy. My person had me in point shoes and in heels in the gym by the end, because they were so serious about getting me back to where I was in,
This is what I'm talking
before.
about. Yeah.
So that is so frustrating. Oh my God.
But in terms of being involved with a high level athlete, that's where I felt it was disappointing,
Yeah, I feel like your basic physical therapist in a basic town that works with regular people, their challenge is to get people to actually do the exercises.
Right.
Whereas for us, we're just like, no. Like, I'll do it 100 more times than you tell me to do it.
Exactly.
1,000 more times, And it's been many years since then. How does that ankle feel right now?
The fracture never fused together. For whatever reason, the screw was hindering that. I'm not sure why. Because it never fused together, the ligament or the muscle that's on the inside of my ankle, it was catching the screw. And so anytime, sometimes I'd just be walking. It would just be the most simplest thing. I'd just be walking and that ligament or muscle that's there would catch and it would kind of just throw me off. And so I'd kind of like, not fall to my knees, but it was kind of like a stutter step. It was like, okay, that's definitely painful.
Mm-hmm.
And it kept doing that for a while. Let's handle the situation. Let's get it removed. And I was lucky enough that they covered everything. I was working for Cirque at this point. They covered everything, and they removed the screw, and then I was kind of back into that rehab mode again for the second time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I had the same thing. I had all my stuff removed. And I don't know about you, but after it got pulled out and I looked at it, it's like in this like baggy and like crusty and bloody. And it looks like legit from Home Depot. Like, it just looks like they grabbed some screws from like that aisle. It was just clunky. Mm-hmm. So I totally feel you on that because, that was my experience. Except for like the geriatric PT. I did not have that. I'm very sorry. That is frustrating.
Yeah, and it's not to say that they were bad physical therapists, because I think that they were doing what they were used to.
What all that was like, touring and being on these shows. Yeah,
touring was a lot of fun. I did an arena tour. It was called Cirque, the First Flight. And I was part of the creation and everything. And they originally brought me out to Montreal to do the workshop several months before the show even started. And it was a fun process. It was like you're just creating something new of a brand new show that was based on the movie Avatar. Fast forwarding, I ended up being on the tour with that show for 2.5 years, I believe is what it was. Went to Australia. And I did the first city. We were there for 3 weeks. And then that's when, I had decided like, okay, I'm still feeling a lot of pain in my ankle. And that's when I kind of had my second surgery.
Oh, is that why you ended up leaving?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't remember that at all. I thought you just made you were just like, okay, ready for something else. I didn't know that.
At that point, I think my contract was ending at the end of that year, I believe. I had my surgery. Obviously, I came back home to Vegas, did my rehab and everything. And then that's when Sarah and I decided to move to Germany.
Oh, that's when that happened.
And then we did that contract in Germany. Yeah. So it was 2018, I believe.
There was that whole time where Sarah was on Radio City in New York and you were in Germany and you guys had to spend months and months apart. And then she went back to Germany. You guys went to every European city on the weekends just to like take advantage of it.
And so we had only been in Germany together for a few months before she went off and started her rehearsals for Radio City. We were doing long distance. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was, it's tough,
Of course. And you guys did Cirque. You guys did long distance during that.
And it was long distance that whole tour.
Yeah, I mean, that's a long time. Christian, you're a tramp artist and then mostly rope.
Yes.
Those are two things that I do not do. I do not touch those things.
The show that Sarah and I did at SeaWorld, Cirque du Mer, was a tramp wall show. So it was nonstop trampoline, tramp wall every day. It was something that was just a lot of fun for me. So, it was a new apparatus. I think it had because Lanuba had been around for a while, and they basically were the first ones to introduce tramp wall. It's one of those things that I never competed trampoline. I was never a competitive gymnast or competitive trampolinist or anything like that. It was just one of those things that I had. I knew some guys that worked at Disney. They were, Olympic qualifying gymnasts, and they were good friends of mine. And they taught me a lot. But the more I got into it, that's kind of when I started to study a little bit more, just on myself, working on lines, working on technique, just doing different things, obviously, to improve, so I can be better at this craft, so I can be better at this apparatus. There's something about trampoline, just the feeling of floating as you bounce. I don't know. I don't know. There's something about it. It's like
it's a different type of flight.
Yeah, exactly.
Than aerial. And what would you say is the hardest part about it?
I feel like just consistency with like making sure you're staying in the center of the trampoline.
Okay.
Because it's one of those things where a lot of trampolines have different sizes, and the one that I was using at the time was a 7-foot by 14-foot trampoline. So it's like, you had a little bit of room for a mistake.
Okay.
But the goal was to stay on that X and that box, because that's basically the sweet spot. Anywhere else, you can throw you to the left, right, front, back. And that's kind of when it gets a little sketchy. And that's probably the most difficult part about it, is just keeping your bounce in place, basically.
Okay. Is that just precision and core strength?
I would definitely say precision. I mean, it's just...
like I'm trying to imagine.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely takes a lot of technique. Learning. And again, I reiterate that I'm not a trampolinist, but this is just based on what I've seen in competitions, what I've seen in the Olympics, and based on me training it myself. It's just, it's a lot of precision, and it's a lot of technique, learning how to position your body. If you're slightly to the left, how to adjust and move,
okay.
Forward, back, the slightest adjustment can send you in the opposite direction. So it's like, that's why you have to be, constantly aware of where exactly you are on the trampoline.
There's a bunch of like YouTube videos of teenagers like doing crazy stuff on like outdoor trampolines.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I'm like, are they really good, or are they just are they just doing risky stuff and it's kind of stupid?
I mean, kind of both.
Okay.
They're really good, and they're doing risky stuff because they're also using like the kind of trampolines that you can find at Walmart.
Yeah,
or at,
Costco.
The black bed circular trampolines, and those don't have a lot of bounce. So what I've seen on YouTube is you have 3 or 4 kids double bouncing. Basically,
or
you
like
extra,
5 or 6.
Yeah, they're giving you extra power so you can get higher, so that you can do more skills in the air. But I only bounced on one of those as I was a kid. Like when I was a kid, just to kind of play around. It was never to really try and make a career out of bouncing, on a trampoline. It was never those black bed trampolines that you get from Walmart. It was always the
like,
I guess I'll say the Olympic style trampolines that they have
at the gym,
gyms.
Right?
Yeah,
with real gym equipment.
Exactly.
And then with rope, the big difference. There's 2 big differences with rope and silks for me. Anytime I see people really doing momentum stuff on silks, I feel like it's borrowed from rope. I feel like it's coming from rope. And then the releases. And people are doing releases on silks nowadays. But again, they're borrowing it from rope. It's not like it's originating from silks.
I know I have seen a lot of dynamic movement on silk. Sarah does a lot of dynamic, not like the swings and the tempos and the beats, but she just does a lot of dynamic drops. And I have seen a lot of people do dynamic tempos and beats and stuff on silks, which it's not something that I would particularly feel comfortable doing. Not that I wouldn't feel comfortable. It's just there's less room for error when you're on a silk.
Oh yeah. Than
when you are on a rope.
I mean, these people are going for sometimes just a free grip, and the thing is, the fabric can open up.
Exactly.
And you're just like, I literally, and I know a lot of these people who are doing it are probably over a pit with foam. So I get that if they fall, it's no big deal. Yeah. So when you're doing all this momentum stuff and releases, is it that you really found this apparatus and you just love it? Or was it like, okay, apparatus is going to be the best for my career when it comes to jobs?
Honestly, it was kind of both.
Okay.
And I would say Sarah played a big part in that, because she was my first aerial coach.
Well, you're a lucky man, as I'm a lucky girl.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who you telling? I know this.
That baddest bitch in the game, as we like to call her.
That's what I'm trying to tell everybody.
I know. She is.
She is. She really is. She really is. And I stand by that 100%. She was my first aerial coach. So I think originally I wanted to train straps, because I was like, oh, this would be a cool apparatus to learn, because it involves a lot of strength and a lot of beats, a lot of momentum. And so like, let's try that. And I think I tried straps a few times, didn't like it. And I think I enjoyed having shoulders attached to my body. And so I'm exaggerating, obviously. I'm exaggerating. Because I know there's a lot of people that do straps that they still have shoulders. But for me personally, because I'm not flexible so much in my shoulders, not really flexible so much anywhere. I can fake it, but especially not in my shoulders. My shoulders are super tight. And so, I valued my shoulders. So I said, you know what? Straps is not for me.
Well, if you've got tight shoulders, straps is hard anyway. I mean, it's like, exactly. That's all you do. You just dislocate and dislocate and dislocate.
Exactly. And that was not my thing. And maybe like for gymnasts that did rings, growing up doing rings and competing artistic gymnastics, then yeah, that's the perfect, if you're going to transition to a circus apparatus, that's probably one of the better apparatuses to transition to, because it's similar to doing rings for the men's artistic gymnastics. But for me, it was not my thing. So I ended up choosing rope for whatever reason. And I knew Sarah was an aerialist and a coach. So I think once I kind of picked it up, and when she started showing me things, I was addicted. I was like, okay, I need to learn more. I need to do this. I need to do my research. And she taught me a bunch of stuff, transitions, skills, technique, all kinds of things. And it was just, I just got so addicted that I just kind of, I just dove right in. And it became this thing of like, okay, I want to be an aerialist. So now I'm transitioning from, I wouldn't say transitioning from, I'm kind of just adding to my arsenal of skills and apparatuses that this specific apparatus, which was rope, became one of those things where there weren't a lot of male rope artists in the industry. And so it was one of those things where it was advantageous for me to keep doing this apparatus or this discipline to get more jobs.
Yeah, I feel like there must be tons of men that do straps.
Oh my goodness, it was nonstop straps.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see straps all over the place. Like it was this trend for a while. I mean, it's probably still a trend, I don't know. But I remember going to the gym and I remember this specifically, going to the gym to train rope, and I saw 5 straps lined up, and it was everyone just training straps. And I was the only male rope artist training rope, So I was kind of like, I guess I picked the right apparatus.
Yeah. Yeah. And then for this discipline, what is the most fun and what's the hardest? What's the biggest challenge?
The most fun for me is definitely doing releases.
Okay.
Just coming from doing trampoline and just an acrobatics background, it was definitely doing the releases, because it's this adrenaline rush of you completely release the rope and then you catch it again. And it was another one of those things that I just got addicted to like right away. And I would say for me, that's definitely the most fun. I know some people like just, movement and transitions and stuff. But for me, it was definitely those releases. And the hardest thing, I think, for me, for someone that's not flexible, it's trying to find positions that fit my body type.
Got it.
Because I'm 6 foot and my legs, they're super long. And I mean, that's basically my whole entire body are my legs, And so it's just trying to find different positions that suit my body so that I can kind of fake being flexible, if you will, or just have a position that's suitable for me so that it looks good on stage for an audience, And that's definitely the biggest challenge.
Yeah, that's like me being on a lyra because my back isn't flexible.
Yeah, exactly.
So I cover it up with like hair whips and like dynamic, arms. I'm just doing everything I can to cover up for the fact that my back isn't that bendy. So I think everybody's got that one, that one thing.
Exactly.
Were you in the air for that, Taruk, at all? Were you doing aerial? Or was it just acrobatics on that contract?
I was one of the featured characters, but I was a backup for rope because as that featured character, rope was the very first number of the show.
Oh, okay.
Maybe about a year in that I actually was able to do rope on a once a week basis. And that was after talking to the AD and being like, hey, like, look, this is my main discipline. Like, I'd really love to perform it in the show. Like, can we make this happen if I have a backup for that character role in the beginning of the show?
I came to see you in that show when you visited LA, I think.
Oh, no, wait, you came with a bunch of friends, right? It was like...
Yeah. One of my students, she was so excited to meet you.
That's right. I do remember this.
I would assume, like, you have this tail on, you have this costume because you are one of the blue characters from Avatar.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember if you have gloves on, but I cannot imagine it's easy to do rope with that costume on.
No, it wasn't. The gloves were the hardest part about doing.
That's what I was thinking. Like, how did you do that?
The costume actually, it didn't bother me. It was mostly the gloves. Obviously, because we're all used to using our bare hands, whether it be with like rosin or spray rosin or the firm grip. Like, I mean, you kind of got used to it, but even still, like, there was a time I believe I was doing rope, and one of the fingers from my glove got caught. And it was towards the end of the rope number where you're supposed to do like some kind of slack drop. You come down, the act finishes, lights go out, whatever they do, they do the transition.
Mm-hmm.
My hand just got stuck and there was nothing I can do because it was just stuck. I ended up somehow wrapping my glove in there. And so I kind of just stayed there in the position until the winch brought me down, take my hand out, take my glove out, and went about the show. And then I also remember one time getting my hand stuck again. And at that point, I was like, this is not going to happen for a second time. I just ripped my hand out and I ripped the glove and it was just, fingers out in the air. I kind of killed the magic, but it's like, you have this light skinned guy and then you have everybody that's dressed in blue. And then now you see random light skin go just kind of flying through the air. So,
I mean, it happens. I would totally have gotten that tail caught in a slack drop. Like 100% would have happened.
Yeah, I mean, it's happened and people have ripped tails before. And, we were going through, at first we were going through tails like once every 2 or 3 days or once every week. And it was like a brand new tail because it just kept getting caught. It kept getting ripped off. Someone would step on it.
Yeah, for sure.
So it was definitely a lot to get used to.
So now you guys are opening back up. You've got a baby at home.
Yes, ma'am. I love it.
Yeah. So you guys are going to go through all the stages. So to close out, tell me if you have any dad advice for the men out there.
It's hard to give advice on something like that because for me, right off the bat, coming from a Hispanic family, I'm very close to my family, especially the women in my family. I was very close to my grandmother, extremely close to my mom and my sister. And, I guess you can call me a mama's boy. I'm fine with that. I'm not mad. I'm not mad at that. I will take that. 100% I'm a mama's boy. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. And so because being so close to the women in my family, I just felt like my heart just kind of exploded with so much love and adoration for both Sarah and the baby. And it was one of those things that, you don't really realize. For me personally, I didn't really realize what I was missing until I met my daughter. And it was one of those things that I told Sarah, I was like I was fully prepared to really dive into a lot of the responsibility because I felt like she needed a lot of support. I don't want to say needed. I felt like she deserved a lot of support from me as her partner, helping with whatever it be, even before she had the baby. It was just, I wanted to make sure she was comfortable and she was in a good place physically and mentally to have a child during a pandemic, because everybody's going through it, especially during this pandemic.
Yep. And
so it was one of those things that I really wanted to focus on making sure she was good. And, because I know a lot of women deal with postpartum depression. It's just, you never know. There's so much hormones going through a woman's body when she's pregnant. And so it's like, I don't know what that feels like to just have a bunch of hormones going through my body and then so many things happening at once, being at the hospital, during a pandemic, no one has a job. Like there's just so much going on that I was like, I have to do whatever it is that I can to make my wife comfortable, to being now where she's 7.5 months. Zariana is 7.5 months old. I think just having that foundation and that structure of 100%, no, not even 100%, 500% support right off the bat, I think it truly helped evolve our relationship, mine and Sarah's relationship, and with my daughter as well,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I love it.
Basically, I was like, look, just feed her and I'll take care of the rest. Like, I'll put her to sleep. I'll burp her. I'll change her diapers. I'll do whatever it is. I'll play with her. It was just a bonding moment, because I don't get that bonding moment where, to breastfeed a child. And so all these other things that I was doing for her, it just felt good for me as well.
Right.
Because that was a moment for me to bond with my daughter as well, because I'd get her up at night. I'd change her. Then I'd play with her in the morning. I'd take her during the day. We play, just all kinds of things for me to bond with her as much as possible, because I didn't have that opportunity to breastfeed her.
Yeah, that automatic breastfeeding bond that we have. Exactly. So, Christian, we talked about so much of you guys' life, and I've kind of been there to see most of it since, you guys met.
Yeah, you're right.
And I have some amazing, some really fun memories of Christian. So one of my favorite memories of you.
All right.
We were in Barcelona at Leslie's wedding. Was it? Christian's fucking hilarious. So you just had me laughing. And then the actual memory. We were sitting, we were staying in a bed and breakfast. It was not a big hotel. We had to go to 5 different places to even get any food after the wedding.
Oh man.
That was the problem, remember? We were hungry.
And it was, for some reason, everything was closed.
Everything was closed. And
it's like, you think of Europe, it's like it's open all night. It's like, no, it wasn't open all night.
Yeah, and it was a party town.
Oh my goodness.
So we had so much trouble finding food, and we ended up at one of these places that just scoops some beans and rice into a styrofoam box and slaps it together, and and then we're sitting in this bed and breakfast, super quiet because everybody's sleeping. We're just munching on this terrible food.
Oh my goodness.
And Christian's just cracking jokes. I don't even know what you're saying.
No, but here's the thing. It wasn't, we were in the lobby of one of the hotels.
Oh, that's right. We were in the lobby. Okay.
And it was completely dark. Not completely dark. There was some light coming from the outside, but there was nobody there. They had tables. For whatever reason, they had tables in the lobby. And so we came to those breakfast tables because there was nowhere else to sit. We're not going to sit out on the curb. I mean, I guess I kind of did that back in the ghetto when growing up. You eat a sandwich on the corner or whatever, or the little curb or on your driveway. But it was look, we're in Spain. You know what I mean? We're all wearing nice suits and nice dresses, and we're we're out here. We're out here. So it ended up being that we're just kind of it's almost essentially we're in the corner in the back, just in the dark, kind of eating these rice and bean burritos.
Yeah, having a 7-Eleven moment.
Exactly.
It was one of those nights where you weren't drunk anymore, but you were past, you had drank and then there was hours go by. So your buzz is gone, but you're still slightly that feeling.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't drink, but yes, I get what you're saying.
Oh, you didn't drink. Okay, so, but we had been...
No, I don't drink. So.
We had been drinking, I think it was an afternoon wedding, and it was a 3-hour cocktail hour.
Oh,
remember?
Yeah, for sure. I remember
And then the dinner happened, and then the night went on, and you were just cracking me up.
And I think that's what it was. It might have been just a little bit of delusional jokes. I don't know. It was just, I feel like we were all so delusional. That's we were all just so tired and so hungry. That's kind of just, things were just coming out of my mouth. And I don't even know. And I joke a lot with Sarah. She doesn't find all my jokes funny, but that's okay. That's part of being in a relationship.
Well, and I don't spend tons of time with you.
Right.
We're our French circles are adjacent all the time. I just saw Christian and Sarah because we were in Vegas for 2 seconds. And I had planned with them to go to our friend's pool, and I was 5 hours late because...
5 hours? Try 30 hours.
Well, I was late because my child didn't sleep, and, I'm texting them. It's not like I didn't let them know. But first thing Christian says to me was what did you say? You're glad I haven't been waiting here for 10 hours.
It was good to see everybody. We've been waiting around for 6 hours, but we're going to head out. Thanks for coming.
This is the first words he says to me. I hadn't seen him in like a year and a half. So, yeah, that's our friend group, man.
But it's, it's an acquired, my comedy or my personality, it's an acquired taste. Cause it's like, I can't just do that with someone that I just met right off the bat, because I'll be like, what? I don't get it. It's not funny. It has to be someone that I've known for a little bit. Yeah. They understand my jokes, and I just can't do that with random people. Cause although I do that sometimes with random people, but it's not so much for their laughter. It's more so for me and for Sarah, because she thinks it's hilarious whenever I just say random things to people. So, it's just kind of fun. You got to keep it light, you guys.
Yeah, no, you crack me up every single time I see you. It doesn't matter what's happening. You make me laugh. It's awesome. So this was so great. I feel like the listeners out there, I want to say most of my listeners are women, and I feel like it might be great for them to hear from a dad. And I think we should probably do this again sometime. Yeah, when your child's in like a different, like in maybe a toddler phase.
Oh, when she's talking, and she's going to be speaking 2 languages, Spanish and English. Yes, sir.
That's awesome. I can't do that for my child. I got one. It's called American. It is. I wish I was that multicultural and actually knew how to speak my language.
She could always learn another language. It doesn't have to be directly from.
If it's Chinese is so fucking hard.
That's true.
Chinese
I'm not gonna lie.
Hard.
I'm not to say that I've tried to learn it, but just based on what people have told me, it's pretty difficult.
It's a hard language, but I'm not good at languages anyway. But yeah, she's gonna be. I see videos of you speaking Spanish to her, and you guys doing your little dances on the video. It's pretty cute. It's pretty cute.
Yeah, it's important just to have fun with her. I want her to know that she grew up in a loving family, and in a relationship that we both mean a lot to each other. So it's like to see her laugh. And for her to see us laugh, I think that's really important in a family, just to see laughter and happiness. And I think, from there we just, keep it moving forward.
Thanks so much to Christian for being here on the pod with me today. You can find him on Instagram at acro_Sanchez, and you'll be able to see him do some amazing feats on rope. If you go to my show notes, I've actually got a new gift for you guys. Go ahead and click there. I have curated list of goodies. So basically, I went through Amazon and I picked the aerial gear that I use, and I put it all in one really easy list. If you're looking for a span set, or if you're looking for the right pair of tights, if you're looking for the right tape for your lyra, or the books that I like as references, then you'll find them there. They're all my picks. So go to the show notes and check that out. Thanks so much to Asa Watkins for music and post-production. And if you would honor me with a 5-star rating and a review anywhere you get your podcast, it really helps our community find this podcast. And thanks so much for listening. You've been listening to the Expecting Aerialist podcast. So I got to figure out which one's dropping on Sunday and which one's dropping on the next Sunday. But I would really love for you to dig up a picture of you in these cornrows.
Oh man, I have it on my phone.
Okay, can I use that just on my story somewhere? Because not only do I want to use it, I want to see it.
Do you want viewers, or do you want to scare them away?
No,
you tell me.
No, let's go in for the real stuff. So
because when people saw me with those cornrows, they thought I was straight from the hood. I wasn't straight from the hood. Like when I got to
you just look hard.
SeaWorld, and I what?
You just look hard, like super hardcore.
I guess, yeah. I guess, yeah. I guess so. That's what Sarah says. She was like, "Look, I'm not gonna lie. I was a little frightened by your appearance. So, you know what? I get it all the time. That's just how.
Well, you do have a very striking look. You're tall. You're dark. Depending on what your hair is doing. Yeah, I can see that.
This is true. It's true. I'm not that dark anymore, but yeah.
I would love for you to unearth that photo for me.